Hey, if you're new here, I'm Eva. I've fallen in love with documenting my journey through travel, self growth, and learning to become the happiest version of myself. That's your vibe? Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad you're here.
Hello everyone, my name is Eva, I'm 20 years old, I'm American, and I'm here studying here in Scotland. Today I felt called to make a video a little bit on my story and my journey, and I really wanted to share with others on how they can make this happen. If you are someone who is in a similar boat as I was, I grew up low income in a rural part of Minnesota with not many resources, so today I really wanted to share my story. So for a little bit of background info on my traveling and time here in Scotland, I arrived here in Scotland January of 2026, and I'm here until May 8th of 2026, so it's only a 3.5 month program. However, after this, I am doing a working holiday in Australia over the summer as a gap between my semesters of college. Before study abroad, I was fortunate enough to travel to Paris, France, Stockholm, Sweden, Oslo, Norway, Helsinki, Finland, Copenhagen, Denmark, Seoul, South Korea, and then in Mexico, I went to Mexico City, Oaxaca, and Puerto Escondido, all amazing trips, and I would highly recommend going on all of those trips, all very vastly different but amazing experiences in their own way. So I personally knew I really wanted to travel a lot as soon as I was about like 12 years old. So in middle school, I was homeschooled, and then later on transferred to online school in high school, but pretty much I remember sitting down when I was 12 years old and my mom having me do like a little assignment type thing on Machu Picchu, and that's when I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, like I really want to see that. And after I fell in love with the idea of Peru and Machu Picchu, I started to expand, being like, oh my gosh, there's this place, there's this place, there's this place, and I just started learning about so many different places and cultures. However, I had also never like traveled even within really the US. I had gone to like North and South Dakota, which were the surrounding states near me, and then gone once to visit my grandparents in Oregon. So I had very little travel experience because my parents were low income. They had 3 kids and probably living off of like $30,000. So I never really got the experience to travel. However, I really just as soon as I could, I just started trying to look into any ways possible that there were to be opportunities for me to travel, affordably, because I'd look at these programs like Go Abroad and it would be like $15,000, and at that time I was just like, no, there's no way I could do that. So I got my first job at 16 at Arby's, making like 10.75 an hour, very little, and I was working like 15 hours a week. I was still able to save up enough money to go on a school trip through my school at the time, and we went to Puerto Rico, and that was kind of when I first got to experience some travel in another culture other than my own, even though it was kind of supervised and less independent. After that, I had started a different job. I think I was working at McDonald's getting paid like $18 an hour, and I was working like 30 hours a week, probably 17, 18. And then as soon as I turned 18, I knew I had been telling people, oh, I'm gonna travel as soon as I can, whatever. But I was so nervous, and I was like, oh my gosh, like how do I do this? So I told myself one night, it was kind of just by impulse. I'm like, hey, you need to book a flight, you need to do it. But I was like, oh, where do I go? Where do I go? And I'm like, well, you know what? Just do Paris. Just go with Paris. Do it. If you don't do it now, you're never gonna do it. You're gonna always be scared. You're gonna sit here on it and whatever. So that same night, without telling anyone, I booked my flight to Paris. I remember I was so scared. I struggled to sleep that night. I had to text my mom, and I was so nervous how she was gonna react and how my family was gonna react that I literally left the next day, went to a friend's, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so nervous. And of course my family was nervous for me, but luckily they weren't, like mad. They were just like, oh my gosh. So I had my anyways. After enough rambling, I went on that trip. I had so many mistakes I made. I was so scared that first night I went, but it completely changed my life. I fell more in love with myself. I navigated some of the hardest challenges I had ever experienced, such as literally almost running out of a battery. My phone battery almost died because I walked to the wrong hotel, and it was an hour and a half walk, and I had to run all the way like for an hour and a half to make it in time. I had no service on my phone for the first 24 hours. I just made a lot of mistakes, but I would not be here today if I did not have those mistakes and have that experience. So after that kind of same situation, I've just been working. I do live at home with my parents right now, as I'm just working on getting my degree and plan on kind of staying at home until I get my degree, other than moving around. I've kind of found some like little gateways to make it easier while I'm getting my degree to kind of live away from home, but also experience traveling. Pretty much when I first started college, my mom had always encouraged me, oh, you should do like a semester abroad, because she had done a semester abroad actually here exactly in the same town that I'm studying. And I saw the price tag on it. It was like $15,000 for a semester, and I was like, that's a lot. Right now, I'm so fortunate to be able to experience college tuition free, and that has been a game changer. And honestly, one of the things that's been able to make me afford college. So when I saw that price tag, I was like, that's a lot of money. Anyways, I went through some massive life changes in the fall, and something I had kept pondering during the summer was like, I really want to do a semester abroad. I was like locked in a really serious relationship, and it's not something he would have ever been like okay with me really doing, is going away and being away for 3 months. So I always just had that deep down regret, like, oh, I wish I had, gone and done a semester abroad and kind of changed my life. I didn't know who the person I'd be. And so after I had my breakup, along with a lot of other things in my life, I was like, you know what, this is it. Like, I'm gonna come. Just this will be the only student loan I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna experience it. I'm gonna do it for myself. And so, end of January, bags packed, and here I was here in Scotland. And so I had enough savings for myself to be able to comfortably, pay for groceries, pay for, activities out and traveling while I'm here. The program itself was like a student loan, but I luckily had enough savings. I've probably, depending on your program, you're going to want to have a different amount of savings, but like rule of thumb for myself, like I came here with about probably like $8,000 in savings, and it really depends on the lifestyle you're planning to have, how much, like whether your program covers dining hall meals, whether you're planning to do a lot of out of country traveling on weekends and breaks, if you're planning to go out and do activities a lot and social events and whatnot. All of that really like will significantly shift your costs. So I'm not going to really give like a like guide on that. But yeah, since being here in Scotland, I've had so many different changes. I've definitely noticed a massive change in my independence. I'm so much more confident in doing things alone and navigating like adulthood, because before that, I did all my high school years online. I was very kind of just like sheltered, um, and struggled with making friends growing up. I struggled with my social life, and so I felt kind of in a box, and like I had never been taught how to do a lot of things. So when I came here, I really was I was pushed academically, navigating challenges, like all sorts of stuff. So I highly recommend doing a semester abroad if you have any, opportunity or ability to. It has a lot of challenges, but so many rewarding benefits that it has changed my life. And it definitely has changed my life in the sense that there's a lot more doors open. So, like, after this, like I shared, I am going to be going to Australia over the summer and being working as an au pair. And this is something I've known has existed for like years, because I almost did it right after I graduated high school. But um, just having the gap, because I quit my job I was working when I came here to, because I kind of had to. So it really left the doors open for what I was going to do once I went back. And so I was like, you know what, why not? I'm young, I have a lot of flexibility in my life. Let's go to Australia. So, yeah, that's just kind of my story, and I really wanted to share it with you guys and hopefully maybe inspire at least one person out there. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.